morning and welcome to Spotlight TV. I'm your host, Emily Zubi. And today I have a partner at Mendez Vela Medal Design. I have Adam Medal, and he is amazing. He's not only a partner with the design group, but he is just a wonderful human being, energetic, enthusiastic. You're going to love listening to him. We are so proud to have Mendez Vela Medal as part of our platform partners. They sponsored 50 Shades of Pink and are in our book of leaders. So welcome, Adam. I really do love your energy. You're always smiling. You got this big smile that lights up the room. So today's all about you. I want to hear how you started. What was your inspiration? Tell us about Adam.
Well, first off, thank you, Emily, for having me here in Spotlight TV. Really appreciate it. So my name is Adam Medal. I was born in Canada, and both my parents are from Nicaragua. Lived there till I was 10 years old and moved down to Miami, Florida, and have been here ever since. I actually studied and got my master's in architecture at FIU, so local here in Miami.
I love that. Yay. Yeah. Shout out to FIU.
Go FIU. And I had the opportunity during my master's thesis to actually live in Italy a couple months and do my thesis starting off there, and ended up doing the final thesis here in Miami, Florida, which kind of brought me into the furniture industry as well, because my thesis was creating a coffee table that would open up to become a chase. And it came out beautiful. Used a CNC machine, which for me is technology-wise at that moment was very new. And I loved anything that had to do with technology even till this moment right now. So started off there doing the CNC machine. Had an internship in the beginning with Mendez Vela before transitioning to Mendez Vela Medal Design. And from there, once I graduated, I went to go work at Kobe Carp Architecture and was able to work on helping design 25 different buildings while working there. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long were you with Kobe Carp?
For Kobe Carp, it was around 2 years. And when you're studying architecture, you need to meet a certain requirement of architecture hours under a mentor. So I was working there, getting my mentorship hours as well, and was mostly in charge of creating the 3D visual representation of the building so that we can show it to the clients and the city and actually get the projects. Then from there, I went to go become the design director for a local furniture company called Grafton Furniture. And while I was there, I got the opportunity to meet Marcus Lemonis, because at that moment, they were part of the Prophet and they were doing an interview, and I was a part of the team at the moment as the design director, and showing them the factory and also being able to show them the CNC machine. I actually went back and was able to use the CNC machine again.
What does the CNC machine do?
So it's a fully automated robotic machine where it'll bring on plywood. You design it on the computer, whatever shape you want it to cut. And for furniture, what I was trying to do was create more of a manufacturing, fast-paced, and more intricate ergonomic cuts that only a CNC can do. If you try to do it by hand, it takes forever.
Wow.
So was able to first show the whole process, then integrate a new type of way of them doing the production management. Since I'm more technology oriented, I wanted to kind of evolve the way they were doing it, because before it was more Excel sheets, papers, handing out. So I created a project software management tool that they can use online. And till this day, they're still using it, which is amazing.
Your industry, I would imagine, has gone through tremendous technology changes.
It has.
Tremendous. How do you stay on top of that?
Honestly, you're always learning. You can't stop learning. You have to be open to the new technologies that are coming in today. There's a lot of things in the architectural realm that is new, and some people might be hesitant to try it out, but as something as simple as in the beginning we were using 3D printers to create our little models in school, which at that moment that was something amazing. We're at to the point now where we're using robotic arms to create buildings. There's a lot of new architectural projects that they're doing right now where they're printing with cement all these new buildings. So it's you have to stay on top of it. You have to learn. You have to go to conferences. You need to talk to people. Uh, you learn from physical physical interaction with people.
At what point did you know this is what you wanted to do? How early on?
So funny as it is, I was very into Legos, and I would spend hours in my room with Legos nonstop, and I didn't know what that would turn into. But early on, my mom would always tell me, she's like, you know what, you should look into architecture when you grow up because you just love creating things.
Hmm.
And it's something that you really do enjoy. So that always stayed with me as I grew up. And at a certain point, in my once I started growing up, my parents had lost their company. I was gonna take over the company at one point. It was a large transportation company, and I was like, let me do something that I love, something that my mom instilled in me from the beginning, which was architecture.
Hmm.
So I went to school for architecture and loved it from the beginning to the end.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Tell me about like this school. I love to have individuals. I mean, I'm from New York and went to Rutgers, but I love to have individuals that have graduated from Florida schools and FIU. Tell me what that experience was like in terms of an education.
It was really an eye opener. Uh, Architecture is a very tough career, and especially studies when you're doing it in the beginning. It's a lot of hours. Everyone that you study with, they become family because you're in the studio together. You're working till 3 o'clock in the morning, and the beautiful thing of FIU is that they're very open into new technology. And from the beginning, you were able to use a laser cutter, which is a laser that cuts any material for you. It's kind of like the
Hmm.
CNC, but in a smaller scale. Then going to the CNC, and by the time I was leaving, they were getting into the robotic arms, which I would have loved to stay for that.
Have you had a chance to work with that type of
I
technology then?
haven't. I
Okay.
haven't, but that's something on my bucket list that I'll probably go back and maybe mentor some students at FIU and kind of dive into the whole robotic arm.
Uh-huh.
So that'll be something beautiful. But
Yeah.
FIU is an amazing school, very international, and the professors were amazing. And having the opportunity to go live in Italy in Genoa and see the history, which in Miami it's beautiful, it's all new,
Uh-huh.
but then going to Italy and seeing the history, traveling there as with the school and the community
How
was
long did you
amazing.
travel Italy? And
6 months, so
that's a long time. I mean,
very long time.
sometimes you hear the programs that are like, I don't know, 9 weeks or just
Hmm.
you're probably just even getting used to things there. But 6 months,
Yes.
that's long enough, I think, to really
Hmm.
integrate.
It's long enough to integrate. You create a lot of lifetime memories while you're over there.
Uh-huh.
I had like my routine. I had my local gym, my meat guy, cheese guy. Everything there is like going back to the old days where you even have a guy that only made keys. So it's very historical in that point. But also being able to see architectures that normally, as a normal person visiting, you wouldn't be able to do. I was actually able to stay at La Tauret, which is an architecture monastery that was built by Le Corbusier. He's a famous architect. And we were able to stay in one of the rooms where the monks would stay and experience living as they would through the eyes of the architect, how he wanted the people to transition from one space to another.
Hmm.
So that living over there was beautiful in that sense, to be able to also experience different architectures that normally we wouldn't be able to.
Well, I love OCDs and Sabrina. Sabrina
Yes.
was on the show, and
Oh, she's amazing.
I think that just your team, your company, your brand, just stands for excellence. So you know everything that you're going to get, and it's top tier, it's
Hmm.
curated. Um, Tell me a little bit about, like, just your experience in terms of both leadership, and also what were the biggest steps in terms of the learning. That I would imagine that there's been a lot of progression in terms of what you've done and how you do it, but just even within your own company
So even within
and your
our,
partner. Congratulations.
thank you.
So I
Really
mean,
appreciate it.
that doesn't happen by accident.
It doesn't. It doesn't. And, Sears and Sabrina, they're amazing. They're very knowledgeable, amazing interior designers. And they've been also a mentor to me as I've been growing up in my professional career. So going back to your question about how the company has evolved, I actually started with them as an intern in 2011. And at that point, even technology back then was completely different. Seeing from where we started to where we're at, it's a huge change in technology. Uh, in the beginning, we would sketch a lot. Architects would draw by hand. It was beautiful to see it, but the amount of hours that it takes to draw something by hand, it's incredible. And now we've been able to integrate different architectural programs like Revit and AutoCAD, which has simplified and been able to help clients understand how the design's going to be at the end. So typically, when we have a client, we'll create a PowerPoint. We'll do all of the furniture pieces, the accessories, even to the smallest pieces, which you might not think about, which are kitchen cutlery or uh, the vases. We'll add that all into a PowerPoint. Then from there, we'll transition and put it onto a floor plan with an elevation. And from there, we're able to then create a 3D model and finally a rendering. So with the 3D model, we'll be able to do it 3D. The rendering, you'll be able to see it virtually. And we do have the opportunity to create videos. So for the new projects that we've
From
had,
all that,
from all that. So
like
it's steps,
a digital video.
a digital video.
Right.
So you're able to walk through the space from the exterior all the way to the interior. As interior designers, we're able to work with the architect and do the final finishes on the exterior of the new projects, and then walk in and actually design the rest of the interior and do the spatial connections between one space to another.
What's your crown jewel in terms of that one project that you worked on that, is your pride and joy, and the one that still light up when you talk about?
So the pride and joy will have to be, honestly, mostly all of them are pride and joy.
Hmm.
We loved every single project because none of them have been the same. Every single clientele is different. We work and design towards the person's needs and what they want to see in the design. We don't really have a one specific design that we do. We try to integrate everything that the client is envisioning. And I would have to say, from the condominiums to the houses to the hotels that we've been working on, the one that I'm really enjoying right now is the commercial hotel project, because it's something that I personally love to do. I love commercial projects. So we don't have,
How much of a mix do you get of commercial and residential?
right now we have half and half, which is surprising.
That is,
Before we
that is
had,
surprising.
yeah, which is surprising. Before we had mostly residential, and now it's like we have this huge amount of new commercial projects that are coming out. So I would have to say we're doing half and half, and it's perfect. It's the perfect amount for us to handle and distribute the team and be able to see from the beginning to the end.
What's a typical day like?
A typical day
or a
life.
day in the life of Adam?
The day a day in the life of Adam. It's mostly I handle most of the project management. So I will be the person you see when we come towards the end with the deliveries, construction, all the nitty gritty work. That's what I love to do. I love
So
being
you're very
hands on,
detail
very
oriented.
detail. I'm very detail oriented. I'm very organized in the process from the beginning to end. And as you see me through the project, you'll see that I can overcome scenarios that other people really can't. I'll find a solution to something that might get the project on hold, but I'm able to figure out how to maneuver it with the team. So I'll talk to the millwork company, the furniture company, and we're able to work together to collaborate and find a solution to something that's happening at that exact moment.
It's interesting because you've had your experience in Italy and here back from 2011. What How do you see your industry changing, and what are some of the things that you're excited about? I mean, you embrace technology, but not everyone does. So,
Yeah.
I'm just curious as to, you've already seen a lot of changes, and certainly there are more to come, but how do you see your industry evolving, and how, just where you fit into all that?
So the way that I see the industry really evolving is in materiality. We're becoming more eco-friendly, thinking more about the environment, finding different ways to create less impact and become more LEED certified. The hotel that we're currently working on, everything that we're putting into it has to be LEED certified and be able to help the environment and use less power, less water.
When you say lead,
LEED certification
yeah, explain that.
is a universal kind of like certificate that every single architecture building is striving to get right now. There's different tiers from gold to platinum, and you're able to work towards it, and it's an asset. It's something that you should be looking to do in your design and integrate, but it's very hard to check off every single requirement. So for the hotel, everything that we're placing into it, starting from the plumbing to the lighting fixtures to, let's say, the furniture pieces and the millwork, all of that has to be renewable resources that we're integrating in. And if it is grabbing some resources like water or electricity, they have a certain amount that they can't pass. So I can definitely see materiality and kind of going back to giving back to nature being brought onto the project and using technology at the end of the day to be able to evolve from using the amount of water from a fixture we're using before to now, and doing that calculations and seeing how we're able to achieve that type of how do you say that vision that we're having right now.
Yeah, speaking of vision, so what's yours, 10 years from now?
10
You're a
years.
young guy. So 10 years isn't that all that, but
Yeah.
yeah, let's start with 10 years from now.
So I have a lot of goals.
You look like you do.
Yeah. So I definitely want to grow the company even more where we're at right now. We're just starting to dive into the hospitality field. And that's something that I want to really grow more in the company. We're international. We haven't done a hotel international. So that's something I definitely want to do in the next 10 years, where we can start establishing kind of like chains of hotels throughout. Another thing is being able to do restaurants. We're working on our first restaurant right now.
Nice.
So I would like to continue that and kind of broaden and make all of that Osiri and Sabrina have cultivated all of these clientele and actually make it grow
relationships.
more.
I mean,
A lot of relationships.
OCDs and Sabrina are just paramount when when it
Hmm.
comes to relationships.
Yes,
They, I stand amazed at, who they know, how they know, and to successfully grow a brand on a global basis.
yes, which is
We say it very like,
amazing.
oh yeah, global, international, but no, not easy at all. And to be able to
Definitely
do
not.
it and keep the quality,
Hmm.
as you grow, to be able to keep that quality. I mean, just they're all of you guys are just really impressive. So
Oh,
that would
thank you,
be
Emily.
what you would see 10 years from now, is to grow.
To grow the company, to bring more technology into the company, create more relationships with different clientele, and be able to introduce the new partners that will eventually come into the company and continue growing the name of
Yeah.
Mendez Vela Medal.
Is there, yeah, is there one area or country that you would say you have your eye on, that is lending itself to growth and very popular right now? You know
I would
what would that be?
say most of the islands right now are creating a lot of investment with the hotel industry and restaurant, because they're basically tourism, and they're at a point where they're all trying to become the new hit island and be able to give back with the tourism, and be able to create new type of architecture within, also with technology and materiality. So I would also say the Caribbean. The Caribbean right now is really booming with what has to do with resorts and hotels.
And when you say that you'd like to expand in hospitality, so because restaurants, right?
Hmm.
They're that's a whole nother specialization, if you will, right?
Yes, yes.
And
So
yeah, tell me a little bit about your experience with. So you've done what, you're doing one, or
we're
you're
doing one right
okay.
now.
All right.
So
What are the, as I used to say to my son, the pits and the cherries? What's the upside of that, and what's the kind of the learning curve or the challenge with restaurants?
so the learning curve with restaurants right now, all of them, they want to create their own identity. They don't really have the idea of what their identity is going to be. So we're here to now help them create that. So the upside is the creativity is there. You
Yeah.
can design whatever you want, whatever you're
And we're such a
envisioning.
sizzling market too.
It is.
So,
It
the
is.
sexier when
The
I look at,
sexier, the more
we were
different.
talking about that before we started the show, because I'm like,
Yes.
I bet you, I'd like to see your list of where your favorite restaurants, because I bet you that's a combination of great food and incredible ambiance. So I want to get
Hmm.
before we finish, get
I'll
your top
definitely
five.
give you a very
But
good list.
but when you hear of restaurants, and certainly there are restaurant groups.
Hmm.
I just saw an interview with Grotman, who I think is
Yes.
brilliant, and finally, but he talked about his early beginnings, and he
Hmm.
talked about the importance of relationships, because
Yes.
someone who he worked with way back in the early days is now his partner on everything. So, but restaurants, because of the pressure and also the money that goes into it, and the build time and everything else, I mean, it's a different animal.
It is a different animal. And I've actually worked on a couple Grutman restaurants when I was growing in my professional career. Did a couple of his restaurants. Well, since I was working at the custom furniture company,
Uh-huh.
we did Gecko, we did
Oh, nice.
Swan. I actually got to see the production and back end that people normally don't see of creating a restaurant. And with that, I'm using all of that education and knowledge that I learned through that to integrate it to our new projects. So the downside for
Hmm.
the other question is all those little nitty gritty items that you don't want to see in the project. Uh, you have to kind of find creative ways to hide them. So you don't want to see ducks. You don't want to see all the cabling that to light up all of the lighting that they
Mhm.
have throughout the restaurant. All of the equipment that they need. Some restaurants, they like to integrate all of their audio systems, subwoofers, because at night they become lounges. So it's learning all these little nitty gritty items early on
Mhm.
that I've learned that if you don't learn that early on, you're gonna have to figure it on the spot, and it's never gonna be the way you want it to be.
Not easy.
Not easy at all. so
Well,
so definitely that would be the item for that.
I mean, the fact that, congratulations again, on being a partner. What's your secret sauce? Because, to start with a company and work your way all the way up to partnership, and I just know the quality of the projects that, I mean, OCD's is, I'm so impressed
Yeah.
with her because she's got a mind that, business mind and also that creative mind. But,
Hmm.
when you work with excellence, how do you get to the point where, what's your secret sauce in, becoming a partner? Like, what advice would you give to, that generation out there that's like, oh, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, it's no easy thing, but you did it,
Yes.
to work your way into ownership within a company or partnership. It doesn't happen by accident. It's a lot of hard work. What would you say are your characteristics or secret sauce that made that happen for you?
So my secret sauce or characteristics, as you say, would have to be dedication, and you have to work very hard. Early on, you're learning. You have to be open to learning new techniques, to learning new ideas, and you have to be able to evolve and be able to lead a group as well. So as I have been going through my professional career, I've been learning that I'm really good at leadership and creating a team and being able to be the person that you can always look at and he's always smiling and being able to give that positive energy that yes, I can get through this really hard day. Um, with Osiris and Sabrina, we've just blended so well. I mean, we complement all of our attributes that we don't have. So Osiris is very, you know, business oriented. She can see a problem arising from a mile away. She's an amazing mentor. Sabrina, the same. She's an amazing interior designer. She's great at talking to the clients, being able to bring the ideas in and execute a project from beginning to end. So my attribute to them, which was something that they needed a little bit more help in, was getting all of that manpower in to complete the project at the end, from when the construction starts to the installations, deliveries, and being able to take away that so they can focus more on the interior design work.
That's wonderful, wonderful. Well, we only have a couple minutes left. It just flew by.
Yeah.
Your smile makes it easy. Why don't you just give us your 30-second commercial, and as we wrap up here, if they want to work with you, how to reach you?
Yes. So if you want to work with us, our company is called Mendez Vela Medal Design. You can find us on Instagram at Mendez Vela Medal Design, and you can find our website at mendezvela.com. Thank you.
Yes, wonderful, wonderful. And we're so grateful to all of you for your support. You made 50 Shades of Pink possible. You even designed a set for us to interview all our philanthropists, and we're excited for the year to come. And you're in this coffee table book, a book of rockstar leaders. So thank you so much for being on Spotlight TV. We thank you for joining us. We will see you next week on Spotlight TV, live 10 a.m. A big thank you to community newspapers, to Grant, and to Michael, and to everyone here that makes our life that much easier and produces an incredible show. We'll see you.